welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm bringing you a end of the month kind of stats video. So during the month of May, I decided to try my wrap-ups a little bit differently, and during my Disis19 Diary videos, which are my reading and crafting vlogs, I did wrap up what I was reading in those videos. So there's not going to be any type of reviews in this video. I'm pretty much just going to give you my stats. So the number of books I've read, the number of manga I've read, my ratings, the number of pages, and my best and worst books of the month. So I kind of want to do something different like this and try this out going forward, because wrap-ups are not something that I really enjoy filming. I do enjoy talking about the books that I've read, but it kind of became redundant when I started doing my reading vlogs, because I would talk about the books in there and then I'd have to make another video basically saying the same thing that I talked about in my diary entry. Or I would have to stop myself from talking about the books I was reading there so that I could make a wrap-up entry. And so it just wasn't working for me. I wasn't enjoying repeating myself and filming myself saying the same thing, and a lot of times what I'd say in the diary entry would be different from what I'd say in the wrap-up, or I'd forget something, and it was just a big faff. So trying something different from the month of May. Like I said, I did all of my wrap-ups in my diary entries, so they are listed: wrap-up 1, wrap-up 2, I think there's 5 wrap-ups for May, because there will also be a diary entry that takes up the last part of May. So I'll talk about my last reads of May in there. But for now, we're just going to talk stats. So in the month of May, I read 13 things. So that's a little bit down from what I've been reading month to month, which is about 15 to 16 things, at least for this year. So a little bit of a slower reading month for me. I read 8 mangas and 5 novels, and a lot of the novels that I read were actually rereads, because I am rereading the Percy Jackson series with my family. And so that ended up being a total of 3,217 pages. Now, I don't normally keep track of the number of pages that I read per month. So this is going to be interesting for me as well, to see what my number of pages are like. I normally only keep track of the number of things I read per month. So yeah, some interesting information for me that I'll be getting out of creating these videos for you. So of the 13 things, I had 2 5 stars, 5 4 stars, and 6 3.5 stars. So basically for me, these ratings equate to 3.5 stars being I would recommend it, but I wouldn't reread it. 4 stars being I enjoyed it, I would reread that at some time. And 5 stars being I absolutely loved it, will reread it multiple times, will have it in my collection. So based on those ratings, it seems like I'm still not doing great as far as reading goes, because a lot more of the things I read are types of I wouldn't reread it, and I'm kind of starting to realize that this is the same problem I had when I had watched a lot of BookTube several years ago, where I'm not picking up things that I would actually know that I'd really enjoy. So that's kind of a bummer, because I've been really enjoying watching more BookTube. At the time when I wasn't watching BookTube a lot, I was watching a lot of knitting podcasts, and so now it's kind of flip-flopped again. I'm watching more BookTube and less knitting podcasts, and my ratings are going down. So yeah, I don't feel like I'm picking up a lot of things that I'm hearing people talk about, but my ratings are going down. So I'm still trying to figure out why that is, or prevent myself from picking up things that I probably wouldn't like as much. I mean, the good thing is it's still above 2 stars, but I'm just not finding a lot of stuff that I would ever reread. And I will tell you that a lot of what I have 4 and 5 stars are manga. I mean, manga is something that I enjoy reading a lot. I'm having a lot more success picking up titles in manga that I am really, really enjoying. And so it's just the novels. The novels, I'm having a problem. So I'm still on the hunt to try to turn the novel reading around and be more 5 stars or 4 stars. I would say 4 stars because I don't give a lot of 5 stars. I'm a lot more lenient on 5 stars with manga than I am with novels. So as far as novels go, I do want to be reading more 4-star novels than 3 stars, 3.5 stars. So still on the hunt for that. So I'll be interested to see how that changes for the month of June. I did participate in a couple readathons in May, so that was the Horror Mayhem readathon, which is hosted by the Bookish Bryant. So I did read 3 novels for that, and so I didn't do too badly in regards to that. I participated in the National Lampoon Vacation readathon hosted by Lee over at Dark Roots Creations. I did terribly for that, so I ended up only reading one of the things that I wanted to read for her readathon. I got started on a second book for that readathon, which would have taken care of my last prompt, provided I doubled up prompts using the previous book I read, but I didn't finish that one till June. So I feel bad about not finishing those books for that readathon, but my reading has just not been where I want it to be, and like I said, I haven't really been enjoying myself with the selections I've been picking up. So yeah, and you're probably thinking to yourself, but wait, you rated a lot of things 3.5, and yeah, I did, but that's not where I want to be with my reading, if you know what I mean. I want to be at a 4-star or higher. And I've just been hitting that 3.5 hard the last, I would say, 6 months, maybe? So, yeah. It is what it is, though. So, at least my reading's still up. I'm still reading in the teens amount of books and manga. And yeah, I can only work on it from here, right? So let's get to best book of the month and worst book of the month. So we'll start off with the bad news first so that I can end this video on a good note. My worst book of the month is going to have to be The Haunted Forest Tour by Jeff Strand and James A. Moore. Now, this book just didn't work for me on a lot of levels. There was a lot of swearing. There was a lot of lecherous men thoughts that I just didn't enjoy. But if I look past that, for this just being a kind of slasher, monster-eating type book, it was exactly what I was looking for in a book like that. So I wouldn't reread this one just because I didn't enjoy the things that I had said. I'm not usually fazed by a lot of swearing, but this one I just felt like swearing wasn't necessary in the volume that it was given, and the lecherous male thoughts were just not necessary at all. I don't enjoy that type of thing, or reading that type of thing, especially in a book like this where you have people who are trying to run away, from these monsters who are trying to eat them and save their lives. It's like, really? You're in the middle of an area where you could be eaten by any of these monsters at any time, and you're thinking about having sex with that woman over there. Like, why?
Why is that thought even crossing your mind? You could be using your brain for other things. So yes, that would be my worst read of the month for sure. And again, it still got a 3.5 out of me. I would definitely recommend it for people who enjoy books where you have people being eaten. It does definitely go into detail about people getting pulled apart or chomped on. So if you like that kind of thing, you might consider checking this book out. But for me, I am glad that I read it. The parts where people were actually concerned about their lives and things like that, more like a Jurassic Park type feel, I enjoyed. But there was just too much of that, those lecherous thoughts, and I didn't enjoy that. So yeah, I definitely recommend it though if you're into stuff like that. And then for my best read of the month, it has to be A Man and His Cat. This is by Umi Sakurai, published by Square Enix Manga, rated all ages. This manga follows an elderly gentleman bringing home this cat who has kind of been looked over at the pet store several times, and both of them kind of enhancing each other's life by being together. So I really, really enjoyed this one. I have to admit that I slept on this title. I did not think it was going to be one for me because I don't enjoy slice of life stories usually. I don't know if maybe something is changing for me. Like I said, I'm having a hard time with the books that I am picking up. And so maybe my tastes have changed. Maybe I need to be reading more stuff like this. I am not a cat person. I'm not a pet person. I don't own any pets. And I haven't owned any pets besides fish. And even that, I think, was just the only pet that we could have when I was growing up. And so we had them, but I didn't enjoy them. I'm not a pet type person. And if you would ask me cat or dog, I would definitely say I'm a dog person, because we used to have a lot of friends that had dogs. I used to love going and playing with their dogs, but I've never had pets besides fish, and I would definitely say I'm more of a dog person than a cat person. But this story, absolutely loved it. We get parts from the cat's perspective, sitting in the pet shop, being overlooked, having their price slashed, and still nobody wants them. And then you have this gentleman where in this volume we're still trying to figure out like what has happened in his life where he's finally like wanting a pet and figuring out how to be a good like guardian to this pet, buying the types of cat food and the little like toys and other types of things to make sure that this cat is well taken care of and is happy. And I absolutely love this. We read this for my manga club. You can hear more of my thoughts of this on this story in my Monochrome Manga Club Series First Impressions video, which I'll link down in the description box below. But I love this so much that I immediately picked up all of the other volumes that were out, I think. Well, I picked up all of the volumes that were at the bookstore. So I don't know exactly where we are with this release, but I picked everything up that was available at the bookstore at the time, and I'm so looking forward to reading more of this. We do get a little glimpse into this man's family life, and I do have a lot of questions, so I'm looking forward to finding out more about that in the next volumes. And I had a really great discussion with our manga club members about this. We actually had a little bit of a funny situation trying to figure out how old this gentleman was. I think he's older than the rest of the manga club members do, but it was a fun conversation. And I'm looking forward to experiencing more of this. If you haven't checked out this series, please do. It's such a great story and so lovable, and yes, this cat is just adorable as well. And seeing them learn how to live with each other, it was just so heartwarming. definitely my favorite read of May. So that will do it for me for this kind of end of the month stats video. Let me know down in the comments below how many books you've read and what your favorite book of the month was, or what your least favorite book of the month was. I would really love to know. If nothing else, you would just like to let me know that you were here if you could like this video, and leave me a cat emoji down in the comments below. That would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. I'm going to try this format for the next couple months, I think, so definitely for June, and we'll do another one of these videos wrapping up June. If you'd like to hear me talk about any of the other books that I read during the month of May, definitely go back and check my Disis19 Diaries, or you can check Goodreads for the reviews on the novels. I'm not really doing reviews on manga because I like to just do a series review at the end, and then I'll do a review post at the end of reading a series. But if you have any questions about anything I've read, definitely let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy, and until next time, take care and sweetly always. Bye!